All right, boys, we did $1 million in exactly 30 days. And a lot of you have been asking me to kind of see how I launched it and just kind of the whole process to do the million in 30 days off a launch like this. And that's pretty much what I'm gonna do in this entire video. Now, the funny thing is, like, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in order to do this, but at the same time, it's honestly kind of simple. It all comes down to just the fundamentals of how to launch an offer. And then of course you have all the extra stuff that made us able to do that. But at the end of the day, like, a lot of the stuff was kind of simple. Now I'm gonna show you like pretty much everything, like even the SOPs we used. And by the way, I'm gonna be giving that to y'all at the end of this video, so just make sure to watch. But there was a lot that went into it. And I feel like one thing I've gotten pretty good at is simply just the launch model. Like, I've done a lot of launches in my time of doing this stuff, and I've kind of been able to put together a lot of different things I've used to form one specific launch strategy that worked very well. And as a result, of course, $1 million. Very blessed to be able to say that, of course. But yeah, I want to give you guys a lot of free game. I feel like a lot of people hold stuff back. We actually ended up being #1 on WAP for some time and just consistently making money. And right now we're still scaling, but yeah, let's just jump straight into it. All right, so the $1 million launch, 1 million cash collected in 30 days. Did it through a waitlist launch. We are scaling from here. I want to break down the exact process, right? The exact funnel. And by funnel, I don't mean like landing pages. Like, that's not what a funnel truly is. Yes, a funnel is like, okay, opt-in page, resale page, application page. But a funnel is truly how a lead's journey, right? That's what a funnel is. A funnel is where the lead starts and how the lead gets to the sale, right? And that can be a million different things, right? Every business has different funnels in place, not just landing pages. It's the matter of how does the lead start and where does it finish, right? And I want to break this down to you guys to like a simple, almost to where like a baby can understand it. So it can be like super clear, right? And obviously the #1 thing, the top tippity top of a funnel is traffic sources, right? Where are you getting your traffic from? Whether that's ads, whether that's organic, whatever it is, where is your traffic coming from? And that's the #1 thing you have to figure out, right? For us, it was YouTube. It was pretty much every social media outlet. It was YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, everything, right? Existing communities, that's one of them. But just where is every traffic source located at? Once you get that, you can simply start to reverse engineer the whole process, right? Figure out all your traffic sources, whatever that may be. And then from there, of course, it's how are you going to capture that traffic to get them into your process, right? How are they going to go from just being out in space to actually being in your funnel? Now, I can honestly argue that with organic traffic, they're already in your funnel, in your process, if they're watching your content. But we want to have it to where we actually have them like hand-picked to where we can do whatever we want with them. And that's simply going to start off with, okay, how are they going to go from just watching us, just being off in space, to us actually capturing them, and like I said, hand picking them and putting them into our process, into our funnel, right? And that's simply, in this case scenario, it's simply a waitlist, right? Simply a waitlist sign up, simple type form, ask them some questions, also get a little bit of market research in there as well. But it's a super simple sign up. Now, some people, and this is where some people completely mess up, they think, okay, it's just traffic, and then I'm going to throw up a link and then it's going to be good, right? The last thing you want to do is throw up a link before the people even know what you're talking about, right? How are you going to say, hey, join the waitlist for this before you even mentioned a single thing to anybody? That just doesn't make any sense in my head, at least. And it's going to lead to bad leads. It's going to lead to less amount of leads, a lower volume of leads, and it's also going to lead to less interest, right? So there's one key thing in between figuring out your traffic sources and then figuring out how you are going to capture that lead for your eventual launch of your program, right? And that big thing in the middle here is one word. It's simply anticipation, right? Anticipation, or hype, you can call it. Hype, right? And now what does it mean? That simply means, how are you going to get people on their toes? How are you going to get people to start looking, right? When you start hinting at something slowly, people are going to start looking, and they're not just going to swipe past your stories or swipe past your videos without giving it a second thought. If they know subconsciously that you have been slowly hinting at something coming, they are subconsciously going to pay more attention to what you post, right? And what is that going to lead to? That's going to lead to better leads, better ICP. It's going to lead to a higher volume of leads because you have more people looking at your content and specifically focusing on you because they know something is coming. And it's also going to lead to complete difference in interest, right? If you just throw a link up and say, hey, sign up for the waitlist for my mentorship, they're going to be like, oh, another one of these or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But if you slowly start hinting at something, especially if your audience is loyal, whether you're a creator or whether you're an operator, if the audience is loyal and they've been following the guy for a while, and especially since this is organic traffic, and you start posting at something, you start hinting at something, it's going to get them on their toes. They're going to start paying even more attention to your content. And like I said, it's going to pique interest. It's going to bring in a higher volume of people, and it's going to bring in better clients, right? Better ideal customers. With this anticipation and hype process, right? Getting people on their toes, teasing, hinting, whatever you want to call it. For us, we did about a 7-day process, right? You don't have to elongate this process. It can be 5 to 7 days. But for us, we simply did 7 days. And I'm going to break down exactly what we did in this process shortly because I'm going to get into all the marketing stuff. But I just want you to understand why this is. So for 7 days, it wasn't every single day, but it was a 7-day process, right? It was 1 week prior to launching the waitlist. We started off with simple emails, and how those emails consisted of, it was simply giving them a lot of value. And then at the end, just kind of, throwing it out there that something we've been working on something really big. We're going to be releasing something huge really soon, right? So we appeal to their pain points. We show them really good value. And then we kind of say, hey, I also got this thing going on. I've been working really hard at it. Just be on the lookout for however long, yada, 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 right? Just to get them on their toes. And I think we sent out about 3 emails in this 7-day period. And slowly we started to reveal a little bit more about what it is. And then we also leveraged Instagram stories, of course, because that's like super direct response and it's really good. So we leveraged that. We slowly started hinting at something. We also simply leveraged, and this is a really good part, we simply leveraged existing communities, right? Our client had a free community. He had a low ticket community, right? So people were paying him to already learn from him. And people were also just like, live trading with him, whatever it was. And this is a really, really big leverage point. I'll tell you why. So I like to look at this stuff almost like a release of a movie, right? Because if you study that, you'll see how they slowly start to tease at something. And theirs it's a super elongated process, but it's kind of broken down, right? They slowly start teasing at something. And what's even better is that a lot of big movies, whatever it is, big actors, there's different groups and different communities of people that just love to talk, right? They just like to talk about the same stuff. Now imagine you're releasing a movie. I don't know, let's say Stranger Things, for example. Stranger Things is releasing the next season. They haven't said when, they haven't said what it's going to be like. They haven't released any pictures, any whatever it is. But whoever it is mentions that something is coming, right? People in those groups, they're going to start talking to each other. And even if people didn't see the initial marketing of, hey, something is coming, the people in that group are going to recognize what's coming simply from other people talking about it, right? It's word of mouth. And that's a really big thing here because people in that free community, in that low ticket community, they're going to start talking to each other that something is coming, right? And also in the daily live tradings my client did, he would also start hinting at something in there just verbally to them, straight to them, right? And again, we would never completely reveal what it was, but we slowly started to reveal more and more. We slowly started to peel back the tape, right? Until the day came to launch the waitlist, right? And now at this time when we launched the waitlist, there was such a big volume coming in all at once because everybody was on their toes, right? They came in super high interest. They came in at huge volume and everybody was excited to simply sign up for something. And that's the biggest part about this, one of the biggest parts, right? And now, boom, you figured out your traffic sources, you built the hype, you built the anticipation, you got people on their toes, and now you captured them, right? You captured them at peak interest. And I want you to remember that. You captured them at peak interest and peak attention. So what are you going to do now? You're not just going to let them go off into space for the next 2 weeks, however long your wait list is up. You're not just going to let them chill until then. They're going to completely lose interest. Now, the next step you're going to do is you're going to have pre-framing content, whether that's through videos, whether that's through emails, whatever it is, you're going to have pre-framing content. And now what do I mean? I want you to remember what I just said about peak interest, right? When somebody has peak interest in you, it's going to be easier to manipulate and brainwash them. Now, I don't mean that in a bad way. It's in a good way. It's good manipulation, right? Especially if your client or you as a creator are genuinely good at what you do, it's actually going to really benefit them, right? But when somebody has peak interest, it's 10 times easier to tell them, okay, look in this direction and stay looking in that direction for X amount of time until I launch this program, right? So what are you going to do in these videos? You're going to tell them exactly that. You're going to say, hey, look over here, and I want you to stay looking here for the next 2 weeks, because on this date, we're launching this program. And this program is going to be good because it's going to help you do XYZ. And you need XYZ because you have XYZ going on in your life. And I know this as the creator because I used to be in this position, but now I'm here and I have the answer to your XYZ problem, right? It's simple sales, simple marketing. And once you do that, it's going to set you up perfectly for the next step, right? Because if you just get people to sign up and you just send them to a page that says like, thanks, they're not gonna like stay engaged with you. But if you frame them, it like literally look at it like a sales call, because copywriting is sales in words. If you frame them, if you prime them, you say, hey, you need to look here for the next 2 weeks, and I'm going to give you X, Y, and Z, and then everything else I said. They're going to stay locked in with that. And now there's one more big step with this. Once you get people here, you want to get them all in one place, right? Keep them in one place. And the reason being is simply because once they're in one place, it's going to be so much easier to talk to them, right? Now, our one place was simply broadcast channel, right? Broadcast channel on Instagram, because it is extremely direct response. The creator can just throw a bunch of stuff in there. People get notifications. They open up their Instagram. They see at the top of their DMs that broadcast channel. And it just overall works very well. Now, you don't have to do a broadcast channel. I've seen people do Telegram. I've seen people do Facebook groups. I've seen people do Discords, whatever it is, right? But we decided to do a broadcast channel because my client already had a pretty big broadcast channel. So it's just kind of made sense to me, right? But now that we had them all in one place, we told them where to look. We pre-framed them and we were priming them. And again, the reason this works so well and why you have to do it directly after this sign up is because they're at peak interest. And when they're at peak interest, they're going to pay the most attention to what you're saying, and they're actually going to internalize it, right? And now once you get this, the next step isn't just, okay, oh, now they're signed up. Now it's going to skip an entire 2-week process just until they have to get on a call to close with my sales team. And this is arguably the most important part. This 14-day or however long you decide to do it, this process right here, again, think back to the movie analogy. Once a movie starts talking about the release of this movie, they're not just leaving it at that for 6 months and then the movie launches, right? They're constantly running ads, running trailers, running organic content, running whatever it is to continuously have people looking at them and looking in the right direction and keeping them focused, keeping their eyes on the prize, right? And that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing with this. You want to keep their eyes on the prize, and you want to literally prime them. So once the day comes, it's going to be so easy to sell them, right? And now what does that look like? Simply what that looks like is you're going to send them basically propaganda. Like in the really good way. Again, this is really going to benefit them, because if your creator or your client genuinely helps people, it's going to benefit them. But this step you could pretty much call brainwashing, right? Like, it's like propaganda, bro. You're going to brainwash them in this step. And it sounds so messed up, but it's genuinely true, because that's what sales and marketing is. It's brainwashing, right? It's priming and framing people to do what you want them to do. In a good way, of course. In a good, ethical way. But anyways, through this 14-day nurturing process, we would send them emails. We would type in our broadcast channel. We would give them a ton of free value. One thing we did, which I'll get into as well, is run a free workshop exclusively to people on this wait list, so we could give them a ton of value. And we would continuously do a number of things, right? And those things are pre-framing, slowly getting them more and more in tune to you and your offer, relating to them on a deeper level, appealing to their pain points, showing them first off their problems, showing them why they have these problems, showing them how to fix it, and showing them why you as the creator or as your client has the solution to fixing this problem, and what's going to happen, what's going to be the benefit of that. And also what happens if they don't do it, right? And now you're slowly doing this. You're slowly pre-handling objections. That's a big one. You're showing a ton of social proof. why you as the creator is the man, why you can help them, why you're good at what you do, and who else you've helped that was in their exact situation. And then through this process, it's literally going to brainwash them into loving you so much that when the day comes, they're pulling out their credit card like that. And again, I'm going to break down exactly what we did, but that's going to set you up perfectly for the launch day sales process, right? And now after this process takes in total about like 19 to 21 days for us until we finally get to this launch day, right? And this is where everything we were doing just comes all at once. It's literally like opening a dam and all the water just comes crashing out, right? And how do we launch? Launching is honestly like one of the easiest parts, because if you've done all this right, launch is going to be so like, you're going to see so much money coming in. It's literally like a drug, bro. I swear doing these launches is like getting high, bro. I swear. But they come through the doors are finally open because we announce it on our Instagram, our emails, our broadcast channel, our existing communities, and whatever else the traffic sources are, right? And this is also where your traffic sources come into play as well. But this is where everything starts coming through. And through this, we simply just had another application to booking a call, right? We booked about 100 calls the first hour, and then continued to book anywhere 500 to 1,000 calls the first week. We booked a lot of calls in the first hour. The first day, I think it was 200 to 300. Everybody came through. My phone was freaking blowing up with Slack notifications of qualified applicants, DQ'd applicants, calls booked, this, that, and the third, deals closed, money coming through. It's freaking great, right? But they come through the sales process, they fill out a simple application, and then they get to the call part, right? And this is either them booking themselves on a call or our sales team, our setters, our appointment setters calling them on the phone, right? Either be self-booking or setter booking, right? And now obviously they go through the closing call, they go through the pre-call process, which is a whole another process in itself, which I can show you guys in a different video, but it would just too long to show you on this. But it's a whole different process in itself. And then they get down to the sale. Boom, you got hella bread. You got a ton of bread just sitting in your pocket, and now you can go flex it on social media, whatever you want to do, right? But anyways, the whole point of this is to slowly, one at a time, grab traffic, right? Build the hype, build the anticipation, capture them, tell them to look in one direction, and then you're low-key going to brainwash them until they eventually get to the point of the sale. And I hope all this makes sense. This is kind of the whole funneling process in a nutshell. And again, funnels are not landing pages. It's a type of funnel. It's a landing page funnel, but a funnel is simply the point of a lead. It's lead journey. It's literally from the point where a lead starts to where the lead ends. That is a funnel, right? A funnel isn't just a landing page just saying, oh, go here, here, here on these different landing pages, right? A funnel is starting at point A and getting to point Z in the most effective way possible so you make the most money possible. And this is what does it for every single business. This is the most important part, of course, along with your sales team and everything, but this is a very, very important part. And now getting into some key factors of this, again, it's simply where's your traffic coming from? How are you nurturing them? Like, are you framing them correctly, building hype, piquing their interest, agitating the problem and solution awareness, saying, hey, you have this problem and I have the solution to it, making sure they are aware of that going into the launch. And then also pre-handling objections is a big one. And I can also throw in here social proof between you as a creator, like what you've done, and then also who you have helped, right? And then obviously the sales process is huge between who your sales team is, who your management is, what your pre-call process looks like, and things of that nature. All right, now we're going to be going over the big thing, $1 million story post schedules. These are real examples that I used for my launch. I don't have the exact pictures that we used in here, but I have the general framework of how we went about it. And now I have a full SOP for these templates. I'm going to throw it in my Telegram. So if you want to join that, if you want to get this, my Telegram link is going to be down below. I'm going to be giving a lot of free game in there like this, right? It's going to have simple details, schedules for you, and then also going to have this Miro board right here for you to have access to, right? And then also some best practices. But moving on to the story post, just to further explain it to you guys, for this period right here is, again, as we mentioned earlier, as I explained earlier, it's going to be more so of a building hype sort of thing, building anticipation, slowly letting people on Instagram know about what's coming. Now I started sending emails before I started posting on Instagram. So like when people saw it on Instagram, they kind of already knew what I was talking about. But it was like 2 days before I started the Instagram posts, I started emailing. And so to get into it, the first 4 days or so is literally just going to be a series of posts saying things like launching something huge, be on the lookout, been working on something super huge for whatever your niche is. Like for me, it was trading, like been working on something huge for traders, yada, yada, yada. And then you're going to do that for the first day, right? And then the next day, after you do this one time, you're going to reveal the date the next day. And this is going to be huge. This is like, again, going back to like a movie trailer sort of thing. When people know the date to something, they know to prepare for it, right? They know to prepare for that time period, right? And then moving on, kind of go more into a niche specific thing. Are you, for example, for us, it was, are you a profitable trader? And then just have a poll of yes or no. Simply what a poll does is it gets a lot more engagement. I guess it's like an Instagram algorithm when people are interacting with your story posts. It's one, it's going to push it out to more people. And two, it's just going to get people more engaged in general. And then this is a big one, releasing details tomorrow. Again, drop the date, mark your calendars. Serious traders, because we were trading, so you can just do serious, whatever your niche is, you're not going to want to miss this, right? And then that kind of sums up the anticipation phase and the hype phase, the tease phase in the story post realm of things. And then getting into the actual waitlist for the CTAs and stuff like that. The first post is honestly kind of simple. It's just X date, launching the biggest niche mentorship ever created. And then this is a big part, you're going to name drop, right? So what we did, we had a name and we were constantly pushing that name along with the date. The two things you want to push the hardest and really hype up is the date of the launch and then the name of the program, right? It's going to really resonate in people's minds. So when they see anything that has to do with that, they're automatically going to know what it is. And people are going to start talking about it and they're going to have something specific to talk about, right? And then this is your opportunity if pain point 1, 2, and 3, and then a simple DM CTA, right? And then you can show a little bit of results from past, whatever it is, past programs, their students, whatever it is, and then DM CTA. And then the rest of these days is going to be kind of simple. Like, to be completely honest, the stuff you say in here matters, but you just have to appeal to them. You have to do something to get them to want to slide up on the story and something to capture them. So right here, X date, again, this program delivers. Now we're kind of slowly showing people what the program is about. Value 1, 2, and 3, only accepting 25 people for yada, 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 for becoming a profitable trader, for getting 6 figures in profit, whatever it is, for building a big ecom brand, whatever you're doing. Now you're saying there's only X amount of spots open. That gets people obviously a lot of urgency, a lot of scarcity, and then a DM CTA again. And then you can do another post of social proof with a DM CTA. And then getting into here, and this is a really big one. This is where we started to do the free class, right? And I'm not gonna lie, like when we posted the stories with the CTA to the free class and saying only people on the waitlist get access to this free class, there was a big spike in people. Obviously, the first few days of the waitlist, we got a bunch of people, and then this day is when it actually spiked up a lot again, which was definitely really good. And this free class isn't like a webinar or anything; it's literally just a free class to give the waitlist members a ton of value. And then moving in to the next day, you're going to skip a day right here. Just a simple urgency, scarcity, FOMO post, only X days away from the program. In this case, it would be about 9 days away from program name. I'll change that right here to just program name. Waitlist has been filling up rapidly. DM me waitlist before we close. Okay, and going on to the very next day, this is going to be another post towards the free class. Simply just, and this one's really good, right? It's going to say, again, however many days away. And I really like this. This is a different one of my clients. This is not the person we did $1 million with, but this is another one of my clients. And I really liked this story post. I thought it was really nice. We used his logo. And then we kind of appeal to their pain points again and why the program is going to help with that, saying this is for you, DMCTA, and then in the meantime, running the free live class, revealing yada, 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 and then saying the link to the class will only be sent to waitlist members tomorrow. And then if your client has a company Instagram, I also suggest posting on there as well. And then moving on to the next day, this is going to be the day of the free class, right? So this was the day of the waitlist launch, and then about a week later. So this was a Monday, and then this was the next Monday for the free class, the free value add, right? The morning of another post that gets a spike of people to join. This is where it gets a little bit sneaky. So obviously we're telling people we only send the link to people on the wait list, but we don't want to miss out on people who haven't joined yet. We still want to post the link on his story somehow right before the class starts. And that's exactly what we did, but we sneaked around people like being weird about it since we said only waitlist members can join. So we said, saw some of you couldn't access the link, so here it is. Right? It's simply saying it's like a troubleshooting post to get people to think like, oh, some people just can't access it. And then now you're gonna get even more people to join this free class, right? And then moving on to the next day, this isn't going to be a CTA or anything. It's going to be an indirect CTA. You're going to have a link to the free class, the recording of the free class, right? So this was the free day of the free class. And then this was the next day just saying, hey, here's the recording. And then it's going to have the link to the waitlist in the description, right? And then the next day, this is going to be more so of revealing more program details, right? You want to make sure that people know what they're getting into, right? People aren't just going to throw their name onto something and then when it launches, they're going to be a little bit confused and they're not going to be as ready to buy. But if they know what they're getting into, even if it's not 100%, even if it's 90%, they know what they're getting into, then it's going to be way easier to sell them. And all the other processes that we went over is going to be overall more effective. And then for the next couple days leading up to the launch, again, you're just going to continue to show social proof. You're going to continue to show them scarcity, FOMO, urgency. And a big thing is differentiating this program and the creator from the rest of all the other programs, and also making you as a creator or your client as an operator look like the man. Like people need to know that he knows what he's doing. He gets his clients really good results until you get down to the day before the launch. And this is where you can strike really strong urgency. And again, where there's another big spike in people joining the wait list, simply saying final opportunity to secure your spot in whatever the program name is, DM waitlist for last few spots, waitlist access ends tonight at midnight, right? And then the next day, this is where you're going to launch. Now, the launch posts on Instagram don't have to be anything crazy, right? It just has to be something to get people to interact with the story and apply. And now after this post that day, you can also go ahead and post some more results, post some more social proof, give some more FOMO and scarcity, and get people through the door. And then also in this SOP, I have some posts you can do after you launch, just some like posts you can do the next couple days. And Ken, if you want that in the Telegram below. And now I want to show you guys all the email marketing we did in the nurturing process. So the $1 million email nurture, right? And this was huge. I can't lie. Like people were loving these. And it might just be because of our ICP. Like our ICP was literally like 30 to over 55-year-olds. Like, bro, there were some people getting on calls that were like 70, 80 years old. Like literally. Like, so these people loved emails. Like they always check their emails. And so we really, really leveraged that. Goes back to this. This is like the backbone of the entire process. Starting off with building hype, building anticipation, starting a week prior to the waitlist, opening the waitlist, and then throughout this whole thing. And it was about from here all the way down to here. This whole thing was just providing a ton of value, pre-handling objections, framing them, telling them, hey, this is your problem. This is why it hurts. This is why you need it. And this is why I can help. And these are the people I have helped before in your exact situation. And it's just continuing to brainwash them in a good way again into buying your stuff, right? Because it's genuinely going to help. And so we really, really leveraged these emails. And then even after launch, the emails really helped as well. Our open rates were pretty good. And now I also don't mean to CTA you guys, but I also have the email SOP right here for people in my Telegram. So if you want that, link is in the description to join the Telegram. I'm going to be sending those out here shortly. And then other tools to leverage in your marketing, simply, again, a broadcast channel, right? Discord or existing communities or low tickets, WAP announcements, that's a big one, Facebook groups, and really anything with groups of people all in one place. But again, get them into one place, pre-frame them, tell them to look in this direction, have that 14-day nurturing process, have the brainwashing machine in place. So when it gets to the day of the launch, they get on these calls and they freaking sell. All right, now that you guys have seen all of that, I want to talk a little bit about like what I think I could have done better. Because obviously every time you do something like this, there's always a number of things you could have done better. So I think it's good to like reflect on that. But honestly, one thing I feel like we could have been better on is simply just being more prepared for things to go wrong. Like one thing you need to do is always like stay ahead, right? You always got to say, okay, if this goes wrong, what am I going to do in this situation, and keep going down that path. So I feel like I could have done that a little bit better, more than I did. One thing we probably could have done better as well is more detail on the payment processor. Like, cause there were some payment issues here and there just with people like having failed payments and stuff. If I could go back, I would have had like an extremely in-depth breakdown in every detail of the payment processor for the closers, which I did, but it didn't have it to an extent to where they knew every single like route it could go. Like I would literally have a Miro board, like, okay, payment, and then it would have like 30 different angles it could go down, and then I would have also all the solutions to it. And one thing I will say that I mentioned it a little bit when I was going over that Miro, but your sales team is probably 10 times more important than some of you guys think. Like some of you guys think you just bring reps in, you kind of tell them what to do, give them a script, and then they go work. Like, bro, that is like, if you do that, you're gonna be so cooked. Like, you genuinely have to, first off, from the beginning, you have to sell the offer to them, and you have to align your goals with their goals, and you literally have to get your sales guys to want to kill for you. Like, when you get to that point where your whole team is willing to die for each other, because you guys are like, if you really look at it, you guys are kind of going to war together. So as the leader, as the top guy, you got to make sure that you're actually leading them correctly and that they are willing to go to war for you, because if that happens, then bro, you're gonna make so much money, bro. Like, it's not even funny. So that's extremely important. Shout out to all my sales guys. If any of you are watching this video, love y'all, bro. Y'all put in hella work, and we're gonna continue to scale from here. But honestly, yeah, like the goals from here is simply just to continue to scale. Like, I want to continue to not only scale this current client that we just did $1 million with, continue to do those $1 million months, do 2, 3, 4, 5 million. Like, I want to end off this year, have done anywhere from 5 to 10 million with that client, right? In cash collected, not just revenue, which is extremely possible. But I also want to continue to scale my agency, right? Bring in the best of the best clients, continue to get really good results, and continue to help y'all out. I'm not gonna lie, like, I want to show y'all everything I do. Like, I feel like one thing that kind of held me back when I was doing this stuff is like, nobody really like gave you the real stuff. Like, I was always confused, even though I paid thousands of dollars for different courses, different mentorships and stuff. Like, I feel like people still held some stuff back. Like, and people know it too. Like, they held a lot of stuff back. That's something that I lacked individually. I just want to give y'all the real sauce, right? So just got to continue to bring on the best of the best talent. Like sales reps, of course, if you want to hit me up, we will most likely have a position for you, whether that's training you from the bottom and then bringing you up eventually. But if you're looking for a home and you're actually a dog, like, shoot me a DM, bro. And I'm telling you, if you're not a dog, like, if you don't put in work, do not DM me, like, because you're not going to be able to keep up. And I say that in the humblest way possible. But the environment we have with the sales team is like, people, if you can't keep up, like, you can't keep up. Like, it's just genuinely. But yeah, a lot of long-term visions with this, man. Like, this is simply just the start of something huge. I want to continue to do consistent $1 million months, 2, 3, 5, $10 million months with continuous clients. Obviously, can't bring on too many clients at once, of course, but continue to just get crazy results and be the best, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? Money is great, but if I'm not doing the best I can, then what is it really even worth, right? So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, a little breakdown of this stuff. I have a Telegram below where I'm actually dropping these SOPs, everything I just showed you guys. I have SOPs for my email structure, the nurture process, and then also my story post structure that you guys saw in here. And it's not even just the diagrams I showed you, it's a lot of other stuff as well inside of them. So I'm gonna be dropping those in my Telegram. So if you want that, go join that below. I'm also gonna be dropping a lot of other exclusive SOPs and whatnot into that Telegram. It's all for free. I'm not going to charge you guys. So you can go join that below. Shoot me DMs on Instagram. Ask me questions. I'll be happy to answer, but you do got to be following me. I can't lie. So if you shoot me a follow, ask me a question, I'll answer you. Pretty active on there. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was fun to break that down. I kind of just went off the dome a little bit, but yeah, go ahead and join my Telegram. I'm gonna keep being active, keep giving you guys a lot of game. Let me know what else you want to see, what else you want me to break down, whatever it is. And I guess I'll see y'all soon.